Hey guys, so today I thought I would do something a little different and something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and that is taking a look at some classic Doctor Who figures from a classic action figure series wave. So this is the official Doctor Who classic series action figure wave, Wave 2. This wave came out in 2010, I believe, and this was mass retail, so you could get it at Tesco's, Asda, I think even in Sainsbury's, and I do remember seeing a lot of them on the shelf. So thankfully I have completed this wave, and yeah, I just thought it would be nice to do a recap on some classic retro figures and just give my thoughts and feelings on them. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and stay tuned. So we'll start by taking a look at the packaging. So as you can see, it is the Russell T Davies era style packaging, because I think that had just come to an end when these figures had came out, but despite the logo changing, they did actually stick with this packaging for quite some time. So I really love the color schemes with this packaging. I think the lighter and darker tones of blue mixed with the fiery orange just balances so well. You get very clear displays of each figure in the viewing window. Sadly, I only have this one example to show you guys because I don't have all the figures in box. I'm not really an in-box collector, but I just haven't really gotten round to opening this guy yet, and I'm unsure if I should. I think I'm going to save him for another video. So just to point out that the mummy robot that I'm taking a look at in this video is not the same. He actually comes with a different canopic jar. This is the one that you would see in Wave 2. This one is actually from the 4th Doctor Adventure set, but it's close enough. It is exactly the same figure. It just comes with a different canopic jar. So, yeah, as I said, I think I'm going to save this for another video. But taking a look, you do get this nice publicity image of the character at the front here with Mummy Robot with canopic jar, appeared in the Pyramids of Mars, and it is a part of the 4th Doctor era, so 1974 to 1981. Posable action figure, Doctor Who. You have a nice kind of 3D thing going on here with the packaging. And then on the back, it does show you the entire wave to collect, and the various eras of the Doctor, and also the action figure, character options, and just lots of legal stuff. Nothing on the bottom and nothing above. So it's just your typical clamshell packaging, but it does look really nice. And I think out of all the Doctor Who packagings that Character had ever made, I think this one was definitely the best. So to start off things chronologically, we'll take a look at the Ice Warrior first. Now this is a very impressive figure. I really love the sculpting on him. I love all the textures and the various different patterns that he has. You've got more of a reptile scaly thing at the front, whereas on the back it's more padded. I love how they've sculpted all of the tufts of fur on the shoulders, the neck, and round the waist, and even the elbows and the knees and shins. Very nice. I always thought the Ice Warriors looked like Lego people because they had those like hands, and even the heads do look quite like Lego people. It's quite funny. But you can see that kind of reptilian style mouth in there. You do have the eyes and the ears, which I believe is one piece of transparent plastic in there. So if you shine a light through the ears, it should be able to light them up. I think. I haven't really tried it. And yeah, you've got some brown paint for the fur, and you have a black wash all over just to really highlight those details, which is really nice. No patterns at the back of the arms or the legs, which I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, because I've never really looked at the behind of an Ice Warrior. So yeah. Yeah, it's just really cool. It's a very classic monster. It's 60s, so it's not going to look the best, but I think as an action figure, it works surprisingly well. So for articulation, it has a full 360 at the head because it's just on a plug. You can bring the arms out roughly 90 degrees, but it is hindered by this piece, which is one big PVC piece. and you can also bring them forward and back, but also it is hindered by this. You have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, a full rotation at the claw. You can bring the legs slightly forward and slightly back, but not by far. You have a full rotation at the top of the leg, a 90-degree bend at the knee, and lastly, a full rotation at the foot. So in terms of articulation, it's not the greatest, and actually, I do really struggle to stand this guy up. He doesn't seem to stand straight because of his waist, but once you get him balanced, he does work good enough. So next in chronological order, we have the mummy robot, or the Siren robot, or whichever you want to call it. So yeah, this is, as I say, this isn't the one that actually came in Wave 2. This is from the 4th Doctor Adventure set. This is the only figure that I have from that set, unfortunately, but I'm still happy to have it all the same. And yeah, for such a simple design, it does look really, really nice. I love the sort of grey with beige wash over the top, just to really give it that bandaged and almost dirty look to it. It's really, really nice. And yeah, I never really paid attention to how much detail was on it before, but there really is a lot. You even have the remote control section here for the pyramid, which I believe is how they're controlled. And very basic articulation for this figure, which is actually fine because that's how the mummies moved anyway. So you have a full 360 rotation at this shoulder here. You have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, a full 360 at the wrist, a full 360 at the waist. You can bring the legs slightly forward. You can bring them out to the side. There is a rotation at the top of the leg, and a 90-degree bend at the knee, and a rotation at the foot. So, yeah, as I say, very standard, but this is how the mummies moved anyway. They didn't really have, you know, a lot of movement to them, so I suppose it does really work. This figure does come with an accessory, which we'll just take a look at now, which is this canopic jar. Now, like I say, in Wave 2, this is the canopic jar that you get, but it's exactly the same in terms of the body. It just has a different lid. You take the lid off and you have access to this thing. I think these are used to power the force field, but they've got these Egyptian symbols on them, and they do look how they did in the story. It's just grey inside, nothing in there, but you do have these nice Egyptian symbols printed on the outside, which is the same for all of them. So all of the jars are the same, they just have different lids. So yeah. Next up we have Morbius. Now this one is one that I was really, really hoping I'd be able to get hold of, and thank you to an amazing eBay seller, my friend Kevin, I was able to, and this is an awesome, awesome figure. I'm someone who actually really likes Brain of Morbius. Some people have their reservations about it, but I actually do really like it, and I just think that this Morbius creature just is so strange, and it translates into figure so well. So as you can see, you've got his brain in the plastic head with all the wires running in there, which I think is so cool. You've got those funny kind of peg eyes and ears. You can even see the little hinges where the top part is sealed on, and then that just kind of clips on to this robotic like Frankenstein creature-esque body, which is mostly an animal. So you've got all this fur on it down the back and on the arms, and you do still have like these stitches and cables running through it, which is nice. Very stubby legs, it's quite funny. Little tufts of fur on the legs. On this arm you do have this giant claw, which is fully articulated, which is nice. It can move outwards and even open, and it does actually have quite a grip to it. And then this arm is just a human arm, which I think is really funny, but that's how it was in the story. So in terms of articulation, there's no movement at the head, so don't try and move it, otherwise you could snap it off. You can bring the arms out to 90 degrees. There's a full 360 rotation at the bicep. That is the same for both arms. There's a 90-degree bend at the human arm, and also a rotation. For the claw arm, as I say, it can open and close, move upward and down, whichever way you want to. The legs can kick out to sideways to 90 degrees and can come forward to 90 degrees, so good range of motion. Full rotation at the top of each leg, 90-degree bend at the knee, no articulation at the foot. So overall, great amount of articulation and just a great figure. One that really stands out on the shelf, and that's why I'm so happy to have him. Next up, we have the Master from Deadly Assassin. So this was actually one of the first figures of the wave I got hold of, and he was out his box, but he was in great condition and he came with his little blaster, so that was really good. But taking a look at him, in spite of his derpiness, he does look very grotesque. You've got this wonderful detail on the hands of all the veins and, you know, just that general grossness that you see in the story. And same on this hand as well. You've got this nice dark wash over it just to really bring out those details. It's the same on the face. You know, you've got all the highlighted teeth as well, and the eyes, which look very derpy. It's really funny. Very nice texture and detail in his cloak, as you can see all around. It is just a grey colour with a lighter grey wash over it, but it's still really nice. The sash of Rassilon is technically an accessory. It comes already on the figure, but you can, with a bit of time and patience, actually take this off if you want to, but I don't want to do that because I do really think the gold just balances out the dullness of the grey really well, so yeah, I like it. In terms of articulation, he does actually have articulated legs, but it's not really going to make much of a difference. There is a swivel at the feet, and they can kick forward and back, and there's even a bend at the knee, but like I say, it's not really going to mean much because it's all tucked away in this PVC cloak. But yeah, if I peel that away, you can actually see in there. Yeah, it's like he's wearing a suit underneath. And then no articulation in the head. I have tried pushing it, but sadly I can't get it to work. You can bring the arms slightly forward, but they are hindered by this very tough PVC. There is a bicep swivel, which you can do a full 360. You can bend the arms to 90 degrees, and there's a full rotation at the hands. So not much articulation when it comes to this figure, but once again, I don't really think there has to be. He does come with his little stun gun here, which is really nice, and it does just slot into his hand, which is sculpted to hold it. And yeah, just really completes the look. So for the penultimate figure of this wave, we do have the standard Vok robot that has light up red eyes to show that it's in kill mode, and you can activate these red eyes simply by holding it towards the light, as you can see. I remember this feature being on a lot of the Hasbro Terminator Salvation toys when I was a kid. It was very cool because, you know, you could create the illusion that the eyes were actually lit up. Very nice paintwork on this figure. Sadly, I did forget to bring the stickers for this review, and I'm not quite sure where they are, but it does give you a selection of stickers which you can choose whichever to put on, so you can army build and choose whichever robot you want, which is really nice. Love the paintwork. I love the shiny metallic green with the silver and the black stripes. Then you have the golden communicator device on his arm. Just very cool. Love the patterns and the textures and everything. It's so good. It has a soft PVC piece over the top and over the top of the legs as well, as you can see. But yeah, very cool. In terms of articulation, however, I don't feel as though this one is as good. You can rotate the head from side to side, but it's quite tight. You can bring the arms forward and back, but you don't want to do a 360 because you could warp this. He can also swivel at the bicep, 90-degree bend at the elbow, and full rotation at the hand. The legs can kick forward reasonably far, but not too far because of this, obviously. They also do rotate at the top of the leg and at the shin, which is interesting. They also have a 90-degree bend at the knee, but you don't want to leave it like that because you could warp the PVC plastic. So overall, it's a really nice looking figure, but sadly the articulation is a little bit clunky with it, and it does just let the figure down. But I really do love the light up eyes feature. I think that's really cool. So last but ever so not least, we have the Earthshock Cyberman. Now, I think this is the figure that most people really love to army build, because this guy is actually I'm not going to say the rarest. In fact, actually, I think Morbius and the Ice Warrior are actually rarer to find, but I think this is the one that probably flew off the shelves quite a bit back in the day because people wanted to army build them. And yeah, if you can find them in their box, they tend to go for £25 at the cheapest. And yeah, I've seen some even out their box that have gone for like £30–40. It's ridiculous. But I was able to get this one for a very reasonable price. And once again, big thank you to Kevin. I got it brand new in the box, and you know, some of you are probably saying, oh my god, you opened it, you're an idiot. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, probably. But this is an awesome figure. The 80s Cybermen are my favourite Cyberman designs. I love the clear mouth, so you can see the silver chin inside. Just all of the detail here on the body, which is highlighted with this nice black wash. And you have the moon boots, gloves, and of course his little blaster gun as an accessory. We'll just take that out for now. And you have the chest piece, which is slightly transparent. You've got the tube that goes round to the back, the venting, even the little screws which actually hold the helmet shut for the actors inside. This nice little shiny green bit at the top here, which is correct. That's what the Earthshock Cybermen had in particular. Just very amazing. The paint apps and the detail are just amazing. So no articulation at the head, which is fine because they didn't move. You can bring the arms forward and back, but not all of the way because of the chest piece. You have a full 360 at the bicep, 90-degree bend at the elbow, rotation at the wrist. The legs can kick forward roughly, but not too much because you don't want to scratch the paint. They can also come out to the side. You have a 90-degree bend at the knee and a full rotation at the boot. So yeah, it might not have like the most flexible of articulation, but it's all it needs to be. And then you do of course have his hairdryer blaster, which I think is what they were, and that just slots very nicely into his hand and his other hand, which is sculpted to hold it. So yeah, you've got yourself a very nice Earthshock Cyberman. I'm actually fortunate enough to own 3 of these, and 2 of them I got second hand for a very reasonable price. So I'm very lucky in that regard. I was always really upset I was never able to come across one, and now all of a sudden I got 3 of them. So yeah, it's funny how that works. So overall, what do I think of this action figure wave? They're very cool. Honestly, I think this is something of a golden era for Doctor Who toys. This is before the Forbidden Planet exclusives, although they had just started to be a thing at the time of this. You know, this is before the god-awful having to chase around the entire country hoping that you'll come across some in B&M. This is when you could just go into your local Tesco's, local Sainsbury's, local Asda, and boom, Doctor Who figures on the shelf, because the show was actually popular back then, you know, and the Doctor Who action figure range was in abundance. But sadly, after this wave, the classic series was cancelled and it was confined to just store exclusives. In fact, I think the last time we ever got classic figures mass retail was the 11 Doctors set, but I could be wrong. I'd have to double check that. But anyway, these figures just take me back to my childhood. I distinctly remember seeing him on the shelf at Tesco's, and I did ask my dad if we could get him, but sadly, no. But oh well, I have him now, so that's important. And yeah, I just think they're really great figures. They're characters that a lot of people would want, and I just think Character did such a wonderful job. I think the paint apps and the quality is just really good, although I have had some joints problems with this guy where one of his legs doesn't move. I've noticed that with a lot of older Character figures. I do struggle to move the joints at times, but aside from that, these figures are just must-owns for any fans of classic Doctor Who, or even just Doctor Who in general. They're very cool. I know the show isn't what it was now, and most likely will never be again, but I just think I'm so happy to have these figures, and these figures will always mean something to me, and no matter how bad things get, they'll always remind me of better times. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's just a little something different, you know, I haven't done Doctor Who figures in quite a while. I will have an Invasion of Time figure set review coming, and also a Pyramids of Mars figure set review coming for Doctor Who, so if you guys are interested, definitely tune into those, and leave a like and a comment down below, let me know what you think, and please be sure to subscribe, guys, and hit the notification bell, because unfortunately YouTube's run by an algorithm, so it really does help the channel. Really appreciate all of you who've tuned in to watch. Thanks ever so much, guys. Stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.